So today we're working on Chapter 8, Lesson 4, which is called Special Products. So if you remember what we've been doing for all of Chapter 8, Chapter 8 has been about polynomials, right? We multiply, what is a polynomial? Then we said, how do we multiply a monomial with a polynomial? How do we add polynomials together? And how do we multiply two polynomials? And that was last lesson where we did FOIL and distribution. Those are the ways to do that. Now today, we're doing the same thing. This is still, we are multiplying polynomials. But these are shortcuts, sort of. These are special products. Product means multiply. So these are special multiplication setups that we don't have to do all the FOIL from last time. We have a shortcut from the same setup to the same kind of answer. Okay, so this is a good screen if you want to take a picture, or, it's in your notebook too. It's in the notes on the assignment page. But this is a good screen to have up if you want to work side by side with it. These are the 3 different special products we're going to talk about today. So what this means is anytime you see, something plus something squared, the answer is always going to be the same format. It's not going to be A's and B's. We will put different numbers and different letters in there, but it'll be the same setup. We just jump from this to that. Same thing. So this is a product of a sum, a square of a sum, square of a difference, and then the product of a sum and a difference. So if you see these setups, we always can use the special product answer. So that's a little confusing. Let's look at one example of it, okay? Let's move over to our first board of actual problems. Now I'm going to do examples that are not the same as the book, and they're not the ones that you need to do. So you have a lot of different examples to help you when you get started. So first we're going to talk about the square of a sum. Okay, well, sum, let's break that down. A sum is adding. So we're adding 2 things together, and then we're squaring it. So something plus something squared. Okay? Whatever we have squared, if it's 10 plus 64, we can, that's just numbers, we can do it. But 10x plus 3y, we can use this key right here, this shortcut. It's a shortcut, so that we don't have to FOIL every time. Okay? So whatever number or letters is A is in here, in the A spot, we just plop it here and square it. Plop it here. Same with the B. Drop the numbers here, and then drop them here and square them. And then we'll get an answer at the end that will be basically all finished. So for these, you can do FOIL. If that's better for you, even after today's lesson, go right ahead. You could write this times this again, and then do your FOIL. Distribute. You can do that. This is just a little faster once you know. So let's start off by marking down what is our A and our B in our multiplication. So I wrote down that we're going to square 7w plus 2t. Okay? So the first numbers and letters, the first coefficient and variable, and if it had exponent, you keep that too. This is A. So let's put why did I get short? There we go. Okay, let's fix that up. So the first term here, that's A. Okay? A. Now let's do the same thing looking for our B. So we're going to ignore the plus this time, and we're going to take the second term. That's our B. Okay? Then we're going to start following the answer pattern. A squared. Okay? Right here, a squared. So take my a, which is 7w, then I'm going to square it. Okay, let me switch colors real quick. Okay, 7w squared. Okay, then let's keep going. What's after the a squared? We did that. Plus 2, okay. Plus 2 times a times b. Okay, so let's write a again. And remember, that's my a. 7w. And now let's write our b. Because it says 2 times a times b. So put more parentheses. And my b. Well, b was 2t. Okay. So that's the middle part finished up. Now, let's do the last term here. Then we have plus, okay, plus b squared. Okay, well, what's b? B was 2t, right? Okay, so we're going to write 2t. That's a weird t, but 2t squared. Okay, so we set it all up. So we took our original, we marked what is a, what is b, and then we just wrote our answer by putting our a and our b where they should go. So this is halfway done. Now we need to get the final answers, and we'll be set. All right, where did I put? There it is. All right. So let's start at the beginning. 7w squared. Okay, that's simple. We've done squaring of monomials before. So 7 squared, that's 49. Okay. W squared, well, that's w squared. Remember, there's the invisible 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay. Next piece. So we'll do them when there's a plus sign. It means it's another term, so it's going to be a little bit of a separate problem. All right, we have 2 times 7w times 2t. So that looks like a lot, but all we have to do is remember to start with the coefficients and multiply the coefficients. Sorry, I was fixing my hand. Okay, so 2 times 7, that's 14, times 2. So 14 times 2 is 28. Okay, then we have w and t. W times t, we can't multiply them together, really. So, I mean, we can't simplify them anymore. They're just going to stay as t and w. I put them in alphabetical order. So we might clean up at the end, put things in alphabetical order. And finally, another plus, so it's another term. 2t squared. Well, 2 squared is 4. T squared is t squared. Okay, so now we're going to switch to the square of a difference. So we need to clean this up. Now we're not adding these anymore. Now we're going to figure out, what do we do if it's a minus b squared? So what is going to change in our answer? Really, all that changes is it's instead of a squared plus, it's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So it's a little bit different in our answer over there. But it's the same steps like we just did. So let's pick something. Let's go with 5x minus 3. And it's squared. Okay, so you could write this again. You can do this with FOIL or with distribution. You just have to write two of these next to each other so that they're multiplying. That's what squared means. And then do your distribution, do your FOIL. That will work. You will get the same answer because this is math. It works. But we have a little shortcut today. So let's figure out what is A. A is our first piece, our first term. Okay. A. And what is B? Well, B, we don't take the minus. We only take the numbers and variables at the end. So we ignore that minus, and there's our B. Okay. Then let's start it out. We have A squared. Well, what's A? Right, here we go. A squared. So A is 5x. Okay. I almost juggled. Okay, then we keep going. Minus 2. A times B. So let's start with A. A is 5x. And B is 3. Now be careful. It's not negative 3. We don't take the minus with this. In a special product like this, we don't use that minus. Okay? And so that's minus 2ab. Okay. Next is plus b squared. Okay, so plus b squared, and b was 3. Okay. Okay, so we have it all set up, and we can go through in each piece. First piece is 5x squared. Okay, 5 squared, 25. X squared is just x squared. Okay, now next piece. Well, it's going to be minus, because these are all positive except for the one minus here. 2 times 5 times 3. Okay, 2 times 5, that's 10. 10 times 3, that's 30. And then the only variable we have, no variable, x, no variable, so it's just going to be that x. Okay. Last piece, it's going to be plus 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. Bada bing, bada boom. And then nicely, this is already all in order for us, right? Highest exponent, lower exponent, 0 exponent. Okay? So this was faster than if we had set it up for FOIL, done double distribution. This was definitely faster. So all it's about is learning your shortcuts, right? If you don't know the shortcut, it can't help you get there faster. But if you know a shortcut, that can help a lot. Okay. Let me clean up for a second, and then we can move on to the last special product. Man, this eraser does not want to go on the table, or on the bookshelf. Okay. So that was square of a sum and square of a difference. All right. Here we are at the last special product for today. Only 3. So we did square of a sum, right? If you have a plus b squared, then we did square of a difference, a minus b squared. Now what if we mix the two things? Okay, we have a sum here, a plus b, and we have a difference here, a minus b. So now we have the product of a sum and a difference, right? The other ones were only sum or only difference. Now we've got both. So we've got a sum and a difference multiplying together. Now, this one's easier to see. You could do FOIL, right? Distribute, 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 just like we did last lesson. But this is going to be a little faster because look at that answer. It's very short. Okay, so how do we know that we have a problem like this? Like, how can we identify this? Well, here's an example of what it could look like. Right, we're going to have two things multiplying together. Over here, we've got, 3n plus 12x. And over here, we've got 3n minus 12x. So look at each of them. They're the same, except this one's plus and this one's minus. So if they're exactly the same like this, except for plus and minus, we're good to go, okay? That's going to be the product of a sum and a difference. Well, what's it going to be? Just like in the other special products, we need to find A and B. Okay, well that's going to be A. That means this is A also, right? Same thing. Okay. And looking up at our example, B is the second term. Don't take the plus sign. So that's B. And B is the same thing over here. How lucky. We have the same thing for A and B. That means we are ready to try our answer. So our shortcut tells us just do A squared. Okay. A is going to be 3n. All right. Then our shortcut says do minus b squared. B is 12x. And we're ready. Okay. So this is going to equal. I don't like that equal sign. Okay, a little better. 3n squared. Okay, 3 squared. That's 9. N squared. That's n squared. Minus 12x squared. 12 squared. That's 144. A calculator can come in handy there, or you can memorize your squared tables, your times tables. And x squared, that's x squared. So there's our answer. Okay. So this one, I definitely think this one is faster than doing the FOIL method or than distributing just plain. The only problem here is you have to realize it needs to be exactly like this when you start, right? They have to have the same pieces. The only difference can be plus and minus. If there's another difference between the two that are multiplying, it's not going to work. So, but if you can realize, if you see a problem, you say, whoa, this is just a product of a sum and a difference. Man, that's a quick shortcut in my opinion. Okay. That's all we've got for today.